Happy Wednesday, everybody. Here we are again with the wonderful Krix and Jet and myself. I'm not wonderful. I'm just here to make sure that Jet and Krix are well looked after. So on the success of last week's live stream, today we're going to do which five books. Those books could be any genre, but which five books would you take to a desert island? It's kind of aligned with Desert Island Discs. If anybody listens to that program from a Radio 4 back in the UK, so it's along those lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to go individually. So we'll start with maybe Crix. We'll ask her to tell us her first book and why, and then we'll move over to Jet. Feel free, guys, if you're out there and tuning in, to pop any questions and also make suggestions on the books that you would take to a desert island. We'd love to hear from you. So, without further ado, let's get into this because I'm really excited. I'm really excited which direction this is going to go. Crix, ladies first.
Uh, well, first one I chose was the one that I read in college. So it's The Little Prince by Antoine de
Ooh.
Saint-Exupéry. It's a timeless novella. When I read this one, it actually fits the topic that we're talking right now. Because first of all, the character there was stuck in a desert island, and then he met the prince. And it's a very heartwarming story, and I do have this favorite line in this book, that and now here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential to is
It's
invisible to the
invisible to
eye.
the eye.
Just to
Yes.
be
Yeah. So the reason I chose this book is that instead of being troubled about your life, your problems, and for example, I'm stuck in an island, and then I met this little person. I would feel like there's something more to the struggle that I'm feeling right now. So it's a book, or it's a novella that not only teaches you life lessons, it teaches you how to live life and realize the things that you already have. For example, the fox refers to someone that you have to tame,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
rose that you have to take care of. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very good. At the same time, it's like the reflection of the author itself. I think the prince is the author, and it's the personification of his childhood, of his life itself. So there, I chose that one for my first entry.
Crix. That's an amazing start. That's really up there. And that quote, that's one of my favourite quotes, and that will be one of my next tattoos because I love it. I think it just sums everything up. Right? Wonderful, wonderful. Jet, man,
Well,
that's a solid start.
yeah, it is. It's also one of my favorite books. In fact, I read that three times in three different uh, stages of my life. One when I was in elementary. Second was
Um,
in I was in high school, and third was I was in college. And it spoke to me differently every time.
Wonderful,
When I was a
wonderful.
kid, is like you enjoy being a kid, and it's like showing you that this is what the world is going to be. This is what you're going to expect. And then when I was reading it in high school, just like what Crick said, it's like you are getting to know people, the different kinds of people that you're going to encounter, and eventually you're going to realize that what is essential is invisible to the eye. And then the third one is being adult of taking care of the crows. So, but it spoke to me in three different stages of my life. So it is a great book. I totally agree with you. In fact, I was in fully booked the like I think Thursday last week, and I came across that, and I wanted to buy one and give it to a friend of mine. So there,
Yeah,
but yeah,
you're
Grix,
a
it's
wonderful
great.
person, Jet. You're a wonderful
Aw.
person, Jet. You really are. Sorry, mate. So go on. What's your first entry?
Oh, it's going to be in the other end of the spectrum. It's going to be the Lord of the Rings, the trilogy.
Here we go.
it, because it just the way it was written by J.R.R. Tolkien is it's just incredible. He the adventure, the way he described Middle Earth, and eventually what's going to happen and what's going to ruin. No matter what it really resembled was greed, which is the ring. That no matter how much you use something that is bad for a good thing, it's eventually going to corrupt you. So it's very applicable to our lives. That anything that's uh, going to be, you thought that's going to be good, any excess of it would eventually turn to bad. So that's it's like a mirror eventually, though it is a fantasy novel. Well, a lot of layers of characters and the world that is being described. It is such a fantastic novel, and it is something that you are going to read and reread again. So this is one of the books that I'm going to bring in the desert island.
Wow. So we've got The Little Prince from Krix and The Lord of the Rings from Jet. It's a cracking start, guys. Krix, let's come back. Let's come back to you. How are you gonna follow Lord of the Rings?
Well, another one here is actually The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So
Mm,
I was a
mm.
rebellious teenager back then, and I read this quote that your children are not your children. So I have to research that. So yeah, I really hated my mom back then, but yeah, I love her right now. So
Your children are not your children. Okay.
yeah. But I encountered this book in college again in literature class, and then one of the things that I love about this book, it's actually not a religious book. It's something of a spiritual book. It guides you on everything, on love, on
Mhm.
beauty, on parenthood itself. So the reason I research about that, your children are not your children line, is I had this notion that my future children, if I would ever have one, is not something that I would own. It is something that is a reflection of me, but it is going to be a different individual. And also on love, you have this quote there that it's so beautiful that you have to take care of it, and then your partner on marriage will be someone that is not the same as you, is different as you, but both have the same outlook, same perspective, same route that you have to take in life. So it is still relevant, and at
Hmm.
the same time, there's drawings out there and symbolisms like what the Little Prince author did before. So it touched me in a way that I have this guidebook in life that I don't have to be something like this, something like that. You have to love, you have to accept life, you have to accept death. So it's very something that you will reflect on when you are stranded on this island or on this desert island. That yeah, suffering is beauty, beauty is suffering, something like that.
There's,
The Prophet by Khalil Gibran.
there was a quote, and I don't know who said or wrote the quote, but there's a quote that goes along the lines of, "If you never read, you only live, or you only experience." I like your mug, by the way, Jet. That's a great mug. It's a great
Thank you.
mug. Um, if you never read, and again, I don't want to be the air fryer, right? Do you know what I mean? People who
Yes.
own air fryers kind of go, "Woo, we own an air fryer," right? And kind of have that snobbiness, right? I'm not saying that at all, right? I'm not saying that because up until really I got to know Jack, I wasn't a big reader myself. Seriously, I wasn't a big reader, right? But there's a quote that says something along the lines: "If you never read, you only really experience one life, which is your own,"
One life.
which is
Yeah.
which is absolutely fantastic. No issues there. If you do read, you get to experience many different lives because tricks, as you were just saying there, these books, The Prophet and The Little Prince, they're speaking to you and they're kind of giving you exposure that maybe if you hadn't have read the book or listened to the audiobook or whatever you can do these days, you may not have had that experience, right? I think, again, I'm not being snobbish, I'm not passing judgment, I'm just saying the beauty of reading does give you different chances to experience different things. I'm going to get abuse for that, I know I am, but hey, I'll take it. Cool. Crix, thank you. Jet, over to you. Number two, mate. I
Number
tell you what,
two.
Crix is setting the bar here,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm the books that she's spitting out is like, oh, I'm so immature.
No,
I'm looking at my list of books, my top five. So like, I think my psychological age is 12, and Krix is like somewhere in 60.
I used to teach literature after college, so yeah, I'm really
Ah,
passionate about this one, so it's close to
We've
my
dropped the
heart.
ball. We've dropped the ball here. I was expecting things such as death in a family.
yeah. I,
or
I,
Thorn.
yeah. I feel like I was raised wrong.
No.
Craig,
All right.
to be fair to you, wonderful
Yeah, it
selection of
is.
books. Honestly, it's brilliant. You've really opened my eyes. I'm going to buy both those books after we finish this. Jack, over to you, mate.
It's a novel by Nick Sagan, who's the son of Carl Sagan, the scientist, the famous scientist, astronomer. So instead of pursuing the line where his dad was famous for, he went into literature, and he did use a lot of his knowledge. Well, you have a dad for a scientist, so might as well tap him and then weave stories around it. Uh, it's called Idlewild. It is a post-apocalyptic setting, which is very relevant now because it was started by a virus. That's why
Oh.
we were
Okay.
all right. He woke up. He woke up. He had amnesia, and what is certain? He is certain that somebody's trying to kill him. That's it. So it was a sci-fi fantasy mystery as well, which really is a page turner that you're gonna keep on going through. And while in the middle of the book, you will have a feel of a Matrix. It's like it feels like Matrix. How great the Matrix, that movie,
Yeah. I know the
and
Matrix.
then
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's a feel of a bit of Neil Gaiman and a bit of so it's a great read. It's definitely something that going to make you escape for a brief moment what you're experiencing, whatever it is. Idlewild.
I don't.
Idlewild. I'm just
Mhm.
getting the details. I've not heard of this. Idlewild. How would you spell it, mate?
Idle and
Yes,
wild.
please.
Just yeah.
Hmm.
IDLE wild. WILD.
IDLE. Okay, perfect. I'm just posting
It's
it out there to our followers.
Mhm. So if you are ever venturing into sci-fi, fantasy, or mystery, or you like those three different genres, read this and it's like all three of them together.
Nice. I've not heard of that book. I'm making a note here, guys. I'm gonna be spending a fortune on books after this. Cool. Okay, first two down. Crix, let's come over to you and let's see what the literature genius of the show suggests for her third book.
I don't know. I think it's famous in your country, Paul. It's going to be it's a different one from Jet. It's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I know. I I know that Pride and Prejudice is very famous when it comes to English literature, but I am on a different side of perspective here because I was
Okay.
never thinking of marriage ahead of me. I was not thinking of man as something that I get out of marriage. But Jane Eyre, of course, classic. It's gothic. Um, but at the same time, it touches the sensitive topics that they had in the Victorian era. They have incest. They have domestic violence, and also they have mental illnesses, and also racial discrimination. So when I read this book, it was if I'm stuck on this island, I would feel like I'm Jane Eyre. I will conquer everything, even though um, everything is against me. And she did conquer that in the end. At the same time, there's life in darkness in her life, so she is unlucky in love. But at the end, she gets the man that she really loves, but in a way that she doesn't have to beg for marriage. So at the same time, it is very famous. I think there's a lot of adaptations back then when it was released. So I've never been an Austen girl. So Jane Eyre, something that you can advise your daughter to read. I don't know. Maybe they had that one on their class. So it's very dark but beautiful, romantic but not romantic. So there, Charlotte Bronte.
I've come to the realization quite quickly that the three of us here do like a sense of darkness, right?
Uh-huh.
We don't necessarily live in the world where everything's fine and dandy, right? So I'm cool. cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Greg, honestly, your suggestions here are off the charts in a good way. Well done. Well done.
Well done. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
agree.
mate. How
Yeah.
are you gonna? Jack, can I just say? I feel on the desert island, right? Crix would be one side, getting all kind of all kind of philosophy and culture, and you and me would be the other side going, boo, 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 boo.
I'll be like Buddha,
As
and then
a
I'll do
sword
this.
fights, right? Or sword fights.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, then Krix will come over and say, guys, we need to build a fire, you know. Oh, yeah.
We forgot.
Hang on, we're just in the middle of playing. Let us play
Yeah.
first. Anyway, Jack, go for it,
Um,
mate. What's your third book?
well, keeping it in the line of dark, my
Oh,
third book is a trilogy again. It's the Dark Elf trilogy.
Ooh.
It's by
ooh,
R.A.
okay.
Salvatore.
Mhm.
So this is a story
Wow.
about a dark elf, a drow, or what you other call a drow, wherein he was different from the mold of being a drow. Dark elf is being corrupt, being who would slay anything. Uh, but he was a good drow, so he wanted to get out of that predicament, and so he decided to surface and survive in the surface. And the challenges of being a drow is you are not built for the sunlight, so that's where the struggle is. And the way it was written, and how the foundation that is laid, the how drows are, or dark elves are. If you thought that Game of Thrones was ruthless, this is more ruthless. The politics of the dark elf, the families, the clans, where they would try to uh, annihilate the entire clan just to move up in stature, in status, to be closer to uh, to the uh, the Spider Queen, which is like the ruler of their realm. So you're going to see you're going to see a lot of betrayal. You're going to see a lot of fantasy, betrayal, politics, and all the everything that is bad within our society. It's in there. It's normal. So you're going to.
I've never heard of this, and this is I wasn't expecting this from this live show. I was kind of expecting us to get on and go, talk about stuff that we spoke about in the past in terms
Mhm.
of book wise, right? And
Mhm.
I'm really, really, I feel quite relieved that we haven't because I, right now, I don't care if we don't have any listeners or watch. I don't care if we've got thousands, right? This this for me is an education. I've never heard of the Dark Elf trilogy, so thank you guys for costing me a fortune the moment this live stream finished. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Cool. Thanks, Jack. So, Chris, before we get on to your last two books, just recap the three that you've already mentioned.
Okay, I got The Little Prince, and then The Prophet, and then Jane Eyre.
Jane Eyre. Okay, so we're coming to the penultimate book now from your list of five. Penultimate. Long word for
Wow.
me, that. Where did I pull that from? Chris, what's your fourth book on your list of five?
Okay, I'm gonna go fantasy here because I have to somehow level up with Jet. Um,
Or level down.
Yeah, level down.
no, 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 no. I got the Witchman or the Witcher series. So
Okay.
Mm.
Mhm.
yeah, I really love that. I'm actually playing The Witcher 3 right now on Switch, so I'm obsessed with that game. I'm obsessed with the literature at the same time with the mythology. Okay, it was Andrzej Spakowski. I forgot the pronunciation, but they have like 6 novels and then 15 novellas about Geralt of Rivia. What I love about that book is that um the author put a lot of mythology characters at the same time. There is an Arthurian legend there. I don't know if you are into Arthurian legends, so they have the book Lady of the Lake.
Oh
What I
yeah,
love about,
yeah, I know that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Lady of the
Mm,
Lake. And the main character there, which is the adopted daughter of Geralt, was Ciri. Um, she was actually talking to Sir Gawain. And when I was younger, I
mm,
really loved the story about Sir Gawain and the Green
mm,
Knight. So
mm,
when the author did that part, I was surprised because it's not just the usual swashbuckling heroes that we have, but what Siri did there was like something of an atonement. I don't know if you have read The Atonement by Ian McEwan, where the author changed the ending of the story because she wants to redeem herself from what loss she experienced. So that's the spoiler of that story. Lady of the Lake, the Witcher series. I love that because Siri gave Geralt the ending that he deserves. It's kind of sad. I don't want to spoil it, but I love Witcher. I love Strigas. I love everything about it. I'm obsessed. I'm sorry.
it's
There's
okay.
nothing. There's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with
It's
being
okay.
obsessed. Yeah,
Hmm.
people. Yeah,
We,
that's
the
fine.
three of us are obsessed with something here. That's why we're all together.
Exactly.
I've been playing
Exactly.
Witcher for like 100 hours now. I need sleep, guys.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Greg. That's great. Jet, you're up next, mate. Your penultimate book.
Oh, I'm going to go with my favorite author, definitely, Neil Gaiman. So,
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
uh,
Okay.
yeah, because the first three that I mentioned are very much dark or somewhere in that uh, realm. This is something still a bit dark, but and we've talked about it. It's the Graveyard Book. So,
There
Yeah.
we
uh,
go.
yeah,
There we go.
it 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 is something that you're going to enjoy. One thing that's great about it is that it has its adventure, the with ghouls and ghosts, and and the mystery that also behind it, and how the relationship that is between the Nobody Owens and his surroundings. So it is something that it's a feel good book at the end. Even though it was from the if it is set in the graveyard,
Yeah.
it started off with a knife in the dark. It is a feel good
It
book.
is. Yeah. Made me
I,
cry.
I think as well, Jet. It's a great book, and we have spoken about it. I think you've lost me. Oh, can you hear me? Am I back?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
It's
yeah. I wasn't sure.
yeah,
It's my
your
camera's
video's
frozen. That's
delayed,
all.
but your yeah
There
your
we
your
go.
audio's
Yeah.
There we
alright.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. As well as what you were talking there about the ghouls and ghost stories, I think is wrong because that's already assumed. It tells a good story about how a family or a not an atypical family
Yeah.
can come
Hmm.
together and basically just become a family, right? Regardless of the
Yeah.
background, regardless of the beginnings, wherever anybody comes from, they've come together and they've got through it, and it's a great book, highly recommended for anybody out there to read the Graveyard Book. Wonderful, Jack. Wonderful. Okay, Krix,
Okay. The
your
last one that I
your
have
last book.
here. Yeah. It's
Let's
going to
do
be
it.
the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know I'm not the practicing Christian that I should be, but of course you have the Bible. It started it all. I wanted to opt it for Quran, but that will be on Jet's expertise. I haven't read one, but I would love to, because when I was younger, I did read the Book of Mormon, and then I'm trying to read the Bible. Yes, we have the Bible stories, we have the story of Jesus, and if I'm dying on the island, I might as well redeem myself before I do that. I know it's dark, but yeah, you
No, it's
have
right. It's
to.
like,
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, you
yeah,
have
it's
to
right.
do
It's
so.
right.
Yeah, I have to. I have to think that. Oh, thank you, Jesus, for giving me this life. Yeah, though I didn't believe it
You were,
much.
yeah, you were given a desert island. There's a lot of to think about. There's probably
Yeah,
oil
yeah.
underneath.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's not just the preachings, the translations, the lessons that you have to learn. Of course, you have your own interpretation when it comes to the Bible, but yeah, you have to think of the reason why it was published, why it is still strong right now, why there are a lot of people have certain things to talk about that. So yeah, the Bible will open up my mind, perspective. Even though I'm dying, I will be just thankful there, holding my Bible, and maybe if there's no fire, I might use it for the bonfire. Sorry.
Cool. Thanks, Rex. What a way to end
Yeah, it's
with the
like
Bible.
uh, it's like from all this dark stuff and then salvation at the end.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah, your
I'll
last book, mate.
My last book would be I really had a hard time
Okay.
choosing the book. It's still with Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
I It's something that I know I can't stop uh I can't stop reading him. I cannot stop to talking about him. I was just having a toss up between Good Omens and American Gods.
Oh,
So
Oh.
nice,
so those two.
solid.
So if ever I'm gonna be trapped in a desert island and those two books are lying and I'm only supposed to bring one, I just close my eyes and grab one. So so that's how I'm going to do it. But probably I've brought in three books that are uh, a bit dark. So I'll probably go with, since it's in the I'm gonna go with Good Omens since we're in the Bible part. This is the apocalypse, but in a different take. So
No.
it'll be Good Omens, but these two characters have been living with man from since the start of time. So they were now endeared in their lifestyle. They've enjoyed their lifestyle now that they don't want apocalypse to come when they're supposed to be
Hmm.
the catalyst of the apocalypse. So I'm going to
Exactly.
bring this in because this is a very funny, feel good, and you're going to laugh out loud while reading
Yeah.
this book. So there, I mean, what's the best way to survive a desert island? And but be
Laugh.
cheerful about, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. This has been wonderful, right? I do have one last question for you each, though. Krix, out of your list of five, which one would you take? If you could take only one of those five, which one would it be?
Gonna be Jane Eyre again. I grew
Jane
up in
Eyre.
that book. Yeah. I
Okay.
lost my wallet when I was 13 years old, and then I went to the library because I don't have something to eat. So first thing I did was borrow a book, and then when I saw Jane Eyre, I borrowed it, and then it resonated my life. So there.
Cool. Jack, what about you, mate? What one out of those five? Which one are you
Oh,
taking?
oh man. Oh, I'll
Tough.
probably take Lord of the Rings because one, it's a trilogy. So I'm cheating here. There's three books in there in one. No, but it's a good story. So I'll take that.
So we're getting some comments from Jet. You know Epi, right? You know Epi
Yeah.
from Cytel Days. Yeah. So Jet. So Epi asked me what am I taking to the desert island? Of course, I'd take Epi if I could. If I could take anything, I'd take Epi to the desert island. The book that Epi suggested, How to Build a Raft and Solar Powered Cells. Effie,
Good
always practical, always
choice.
a book listener. Cheers,
Yeah.
Effie. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you tuning in. Love it. We have to get you on the show, brother. Come on next week. Okay, guys. Perfect. Thank you so much for being on. Wonderful show. I've really enjoyed it, and some really interesting suggestions from the books there. Krix, before we say goodbye, is there anything you want to say?
Nothing. Just I would recommend you do you buy those books, and then yeah, I would get Jet's recommendation as well, and make sure that you would be visiting Fully Booked anytime soon.
Absolutely. Fully booked. Fully booked. Jet, let's come to you, my friend.
Reading is going to take you places without even spending for a plane ticket. It's going to tell you're going to know about stories and emotions. You're going to learn the different emotions that you possess that you haven't even experienced yet, or and it's just a totally different world once you dive into a book. And once you come out of that reading, you're going to have a different viewpoint in life. You have a different perspective, which is going to be better, which is going to be whole. You're going to, at the end of the day, you're going to say life is not that difficult, life is not that hard.
Yeah,
So continue
exactly.
to read. It's a There's just so much to discover out there. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be sci-fi. Doesn't have to be fantasy. There are a lot of authors there that are really really good, both
Yeah.
international and local. So go
Yes.
out and buy a book.
Yes.
You know, Georgia, the salient point you make there is it doesn't have to be Jane Eyre. It doesn't have to be the Bible, right? It doesn't have to be The Little Prince. It can be anything that just gets you reading. Whatever gets you
Yeah.
reading, just get in there because the experiences you get just from experience. That's repetition. That's really poor English. Um, but honestly, it just opens your world and gives you a whole different viewpoint on certain things. Great, guys. Thank you so much for today's episode.
Thank
I've
you.
really enjoyed it. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. Jet, I always come to you before we sign off for next week, my friend, or Krix. Have you got anything that you want to discuss next week? Anything off the top of your head? It looks like
Not.
Effie's joining us. No pressure, Effie. But as we're calling it out live, mate, you've got to join us now. So it looks like Effie's joining us next week. But what are we going
Maybe
to discuss next week, guys?
maybe Epi can suggest something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Good
I'll
idea.
speak to Effie.
Yeah.
And just in case he can't make it, what's our fallback topic for next week?
Krix,
Mhm.
it's your turn.
I was thinking about video games right now. But yeah, I was thinking of video games, nostalgic games that you had when you were younger.
Yep.
I've been playing Mortal
Oh,
Kombat since, so gives me a lot of nostalgia. Yeah, the movie
oh,
came out and I was like, "Oh my God, it hits me here." Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I was thinking of gaming, but yeah, you can suggest anything. Gaming, books. I
Yeah,
haven't read something yet.
gaming that we grew up with. Yeah, Paul and I probably going to say Pac-Man or something like that,
Dude, I was
Oh
gonna
my
go. I
God.
was gonna go asteroids.
or Space Invaders.
Yeah, but yeah, I was thinking of that.
uh,
But yeah, any topic will be good. I was
Okay,
not. Yeah,
yes, all
yeah.
right.
that's
Video games.
That's on top of
Yeah, that's
my
it.
top of
And
my
the
mind right now.
and the, how it shaped us when they said that video games create violent kids. Well, actually, it's not. It did not. Never
Not.
did. So yeah, we could discuss that and how the history of certain games, and that's going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Or have you
oh,
been watching the Toys That Made Us in Netflix? I love that show.
Oh,
not watched that.
Oh,
I
I've not
please
haven't,
watched that.
do. Please do. Please
I
do.
haven't
Please
watched
do.
that.
Yeah. Toys That Made Us.
Okay,
It's good. Yeah.
All right.
Watch it.
so we're just gonna maybe the top five video games from our childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
going to be
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh
That's good,
yeah.
right? I like that. I like that. Top five in
Uh,
because already I'm
yeah.
thinking, right? Top five video
Yeah.
games.
And what?
Because
It doesn't have to be childhood, but maybe
Well,
you were
oh,
able to play Street Fighter. I don't know.
I'm gonna get in trouble because for some of these video games, I did cut classes.
Oh.
Kids, I'm not telling you to do that. It's just those are the mistakes I did when I was younger. Don't do that.
So
Oh
top
my god.
top 5 video games from well, either childhood or well, just basically top 5 video games, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Doesn't have to
All
be
right.
childhood. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So next week.
Nice.
Next week. Top 5 video games. Are we going with video games and video consoles, or does it
Yeah.
matter? It doesn't matter
Yeah.
which consoles,
Doesn't
right?
matter.
It
Yeah,
doesn't matter
yeah.
which console. Most likely, it's in whatever video game is in one console anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a great topic. So we'll speak. I'll speak to Epi, see if Epi can make it
Nice.
next week, and see if he can
Please do.
create a. Yeah, let's add him to the live stream WhatsApp group so he knows what's going on.
Sure, absolutely.
And then I'll send you his number shortly, and we can do that. I'm not going to post it on here because everybody will see it, and then everybody's going to reach out to Sir Epi, right? So yeah, so we'll do that. Let's get him on. And yeah, so topic next week: top 5 videos. Oh man, God, that's tough. No. Are you guys old enough to? Are you guys old enough to remember Ode?
What?
See?
Ode is wait. Ode.
Oh my
Is it
god.
Ode? The one that used to do that, where he used to go No. And
No.
then he used to be able to control.
You'll be able to control what? You got my
I'm
interest
gonna
now.
have to-
Oh my god, I have to
Interest
Google
now.
that. I have to Google that.
Was it Ode's World? Maybe it was Ode's World. Hang on. Oh, no, listen, we'll be on it forever now. We'll talk about that next week. All right, so next week, top 5 video games.
Sure.
I'm going to have to research. 5 video games. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, can we mention sport games? Is that all right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
That's part
let's
of it.
just-
Yeah,
that's
that's part
okay,
of it. Yeah.
Oh man, I've got so many. Top 5. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, cool.
Okay.
So, Jack, Krix, thank you so much. Wonderful discussion. Those 10 books.
Amazing.
I'm honestly, amazing. I'm going to spend some money now and buy those books. So great shout. Thank you so much. Next week, for our audience members, we are either going to go with Epi's discussion point if he can make it. If not, we're going to be discussing the top 5 video games that we've had either growing up or currently, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and I got to do my research because I've not picked up a controller in years. So I'm gonna have to
No, me too.
go
Me
back
too.
and
Yeah.
remember. Right. Okay.
Me
Perfect.
too.
All right, guys. This has been great. I've loved every single minute of it. Just you guys are the best. This is just a great experience for me. I love it. I love it. So thank you very much, audience members. Thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Please get in touch. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what your top 5 video games are and what your top 5 books are that you'd take to a desert island. But thank you very much for tuning in. Until 6 p.m. PH time next week. We're out. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.